All right, we need to talk about something that is just honestly infuriating. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson just came out basically with a defense of Lil Durk, a dude that is wrapped up in some serious allegations, basically a murder for hire plot. You may not be familiar, but we'll talk about it as this video goes on. But let's be real. Chicago has been dealing with violence for a long time, and this cycle of crime and broken communities already claimed countless young black men. Instead of standing firm and setting an example, Johnson seems to be more interested in defending the guy who gave him $150,000 for his campaign. Let's just get into it.
I'm just going back to the whole Lil Durk thing. Obviously, you have engaged with him. We've seen pictures of you standing with him. First of all, can we just get your reaction to the news of this famous hometown person who has an organization that's doing good things with kids being arrested in connection with this and have a follow-up?
Yeah, well, look, I don't know all the circumstances and details around, these accusations. What I do know, though, is that Lil Durk's mission to build financial literacy for children across the city and making other critical investments for the children of this city, where his heart, has been.
Brandon Johnson is going to spit out something stupid when it takes him a really long time to spit it out. So I'm guessing that Bryan Johnson is running some kind of PR campaign for Lil Durk. Was it some kind of PR gymnastics? You cannot sugarcoat this situation. Lil Durk's mission doesn't arrest the fact that he is under some serious allegations hanging over his head. Building financial literacy is great, but it's also pretty convenient to use this as a shield against the massive red flags that have been coming up. Johnson is playing like he is Lil Durk's defense attorney. Maybe Johnson should be less worried about defending celebrities with questionable backgrounds and more focused on the actual issues his city is dealing with. This is just a tone-deaf response to overlook the accusations of this magnitude by saying, well, he helps the kids with money skills. That's not an automatic redemption pass, so it shouldn't be treated like one. Now, for those who may not know what's going on with Lil Durk or what the Durk is, let's do a little breakdown of what's going on allegedly with this rapper. So his name is Durk Banks. He was recently arrested on serious federal charges, accusing the plotting of a murder for hire against a rival, identified in court documents as TB. This whole situation traces back to a time back in 2020, the shooting of Durk's close friend, a fellow rapper by the name of King Von. Now, this situation with King Von's murder was a part of a long-standing feud. Von was gunned down in Atlanta. And here's a key piece. An alleged shooter was this person called TB, the very person Durk is accused of targeting. According to federal documents, Durk allegedly placed a bounty on TB's life as retaliation for Von's death, aiming to settle the score in a very dramatic, violent cycle that continues to this day in the streets of Chicago. But anyway, let's fast forward to August 19th of 2022, and this vendetta reaches the boiling point. The feds say that Durk's crew, they call themselves OTF, Only in the Family, this collective, orchestrated an elaborate plan. They allegedly flew out hitmen from Chicago to Los Angeles, coordinating everything from travel to hotel rooms and even disguises, with Durk himself allegedly funding the entire operation. Durk and his associates reportedly traveled to California on a private jet, adding another layer of the planning. At one point, Durk allegedly instructed his associates to avoid using his name on any travel bookings to keep things under the radar. On the day of the hit, OT members tracked this person for hours, eventually ambushing him at a gas station near Beverly Center in LA. But things took a tragic turn. Instead of hitting TB, the shooters killed his family member who was in the vehicle with him. So this wasn't just a drive-by. This was a carefully planned attack with allegedly over 18 rounds fired, resulting in collateral damage and more heartbreak. Durk knew that he was in trouble, and he attempted to skip town once the authority was onto him. When the feds started closing in, Durk reportedly booked multiple international flights to get out of the country, but they intercepted him near Miami International Airport, cutting out his escape and arresting him before he can leave. So this is the guy that Mayor Bryan Johnson wants to defend. Now, obviously, with all these charges with Durk and his associates, they're looking at potentially life sentences for this nonsense. It's a tragic situation for everyone involved. Obviously, with Durk's choices and connections now unraveling in a way that can end his career and his freedom for good, you would think that Mayor Johnson would have something a little bit better to say than what he said. But let's continue more on this nonsense that he's going to spew. Let's go back into it.
And I mean, there's no secret to the trauma that he grew up in and how he has worked to turn that trauma into opportunities for other people.
There's a lot of black men out there that have dealt with severe trauma and they're not orchestrating murder plots. So I don't know what he's talking about. So it seems to me, and you let me know in the comments below, that Mayor Brian Johnson is doubling down on trauma as an excuse for everything. Now, no one's downplaying the struggles that Lil Durk or anyone else has faced, especially in inner cities and all this type of stuff. But let's be real here. Using trauma as a blanket excuse for behavior just sidesteps accountability. There's many of us who live in terrible situations, inner city, low income, and we are not killing people or attempting to kill people. So it's like Johnson is trying to dodge the question by throwing out some righteous path rhetoric. Everyone has a story. Everyone got struggles. That doesn't automatically justify alleged criminal behavior. Johnson's response here seems like he's more interested in sounding empathetic than actually addressing the situation. When you're a mayor, you're expected to protect your citizens, not sugarcoat for a rapper that gave you $150,000 that has a stack of accusations. It seems like a really terrible way of handling things.
You were given, about a month after taking office, a $150,000 campaign donation from him. Do you feel like you should donate that to charity or do something with that money? Is it tainted?
Well, I mean, look, I don't operate in feelings. I operate in truth and justice.
Okay, let's just pause here because that line is almost laughable. I operate in truth and justice. This guy, Mayor Johnson, the same guy who's reportedly has been spending campaign funds on personal expenses like his hair, his makeup, and other questionable necessities, he spends tens of thousands of dollars so his wife can have the best office. Truth and justice will look more like taking that donation and putting it towards something that doesn't smell like damage control. Johnson is talking a big game about justice, but where's that commitment when it came to his own actions? If he genuinely cares about justice, maybe he should stop using taxpayer money for his personal expenses and actually own up to his own choices.
And again, I don't know all the circumstances around these accusations, but again, what I do know for sure is that, here's another example of a young black man who grew up in severe trauma that led to life choices that he has been very open and vocal about healing from those choices. It's why
it was a part of the healing trying to get other people killed and then trying to run away from it. I guess he is the lawyer for Lil Durk. We all deal with trauma. Some deal better than others. To make it seem like, well, just a black guy, and he was a multi-millionaire. If you listen to a lot of his lyrics, Ken Vaughn, a lot of these rappers talked about the people that died. Real people, not just some lyrics that just part of a story. Talk about real death. And this is a toxic culture that has been spilled out into hip hop. And he seems like this guy doesn't get it, or again, when someone gives this man $150,000, he's going to look after you.
Why he's been committed to finding his righteous path, seeking out, truth and justice through his faith, while also investing in behavior and mental health support for individuals. Look,
what will you do with the money?
Well, as I said, right now we have allegations, right, that he has not been tried. And I understand that.
Okay, so the man doesn't want, listen, the man is not giving away the money. Stop asking about the money. It's already spent. He already used it on his hair and his makeup. He probably bought another desk for $10,000. He is not going to give back the money. So stop asking about it. Like, he ain't touching. Listen, the money was already given to me. I don't care what he was doing. It's not my problem. I'm not giving back that money. Do you give back $150,000? The man is spending all types of money on his hair, on his makeup. It's not happening. So stop asking. This is classic deflection. Johnson's pulling the innocent until proven guilty situation, which sounds obviously good in theory. And yes, Lil Durk is innocent until proven guilty. But if you look at the indictment and see some of the facts, and the fact that one of his own people in this little collective, only in the family, was wearing a wire. And why would Lil Durk be trying to make multiple international flights when he knew the feds were on him? Come on. Yes, innocent until proven guilty. When you got this much evidence stacking against you and you try to leave, this is not just a minor misunderstanding. Johnson's stance is almost like saying, let's just ignore the red flags until they're impossible to ignore. If Johnson wanted to be taken seriously, he should just start by holding people accountable instead of coddling those with questionable actions And again, with a lot of money in their bank accounts.
Question. I don't want you to think I don't understand the question. I'm just
feel it's
saying
okay to keep the money?
you're asking me a question about someone who has worked to transform his life, who has admitted that he is on a journey to transformation and has not been charged with anything. I'm sorry, has not been convicted of anything. And so if you're asking me if I should make a judgment on a black man before a full trial has actually come to fruition, I hope you do understand why it is not my position to determine the outcome of someone's life, especially in a system that, quite frankly, has not been overly.
Thank you, Craig.
But the
Thank you,
optics,
Craig. We have one more off-topic.
Yeah, that was a terrible ending. He's a terrible mayor. I don't know. He's bad. He's really, really bad. He's just really bad. I don't know what else to say. I mean, that line just takes a new twist of virtual signaling. No one is asking Johnson to determine the outcome of Lil Durk's life here. They're asking him to recognize the seriousness of his allegations and take the money and put it somewhere else. Johnson's trying to make it seem like he's some kind of justice warrior, but in reality, he's dodging any real accountability by shifting the focus. Let's be real. Johnson isn't doing this out of respect for the justice system. He's doing this to protect that $150,000. And he hopes that maybe some of these other rappers will continue to donate to his campaign. I don't know. That was stupid. This is just another reason why his time as mayor is probably short-lived. There's no way this dude gets reelected. His approving ratings is terrible. He seems to be a goofball, and he spends a lot of money on his face and his hair, and we will all look at it and we don't get it. Where the money is going. But anyway, I think a lot of people are seeing through this, and his refusal to address these issues openly will definitely come back to bite him in his ass. So, what do you guys think about the situation? I would like to talk more about Lil Durk and the toxic culture, the situation that is being dealt with young black men in these streets. The fact that this man was a multimillionaire, had everything, and he had to follow the same code, the same street nonsense that basically ruined his life as it ruined so many others that never got a chance to become famous rappers or successful people. I may make a video about that later on, but let me know about the situation. What do you guys think? Do you agree with the mayor? Let me know. Put in the comments below. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.